So what did you miss at Jubilee today? Well, a lot, which is why I'm just posting now so late in the day back at my house. What did you miss? Well, today we had our annual general meeting. Because June, why not? But in doing so, we also accomplished calling Reverend Dionisio into ministry with us. She's been with us on a 2-year appointment, but that appointment was coming to an end at the end of June. So now we have called her to be minister with us 3/4 time, minister with me. We get to continue to team, and there's no end date on it now. So this is a called ministry, not an appointment, and it's pretty exciting. So we did that today, and we looked at last year, and we have dreamed about and imagined what this year, the rest of this year will look like, and what goes on beyond that, and the various ways we have looked at investing in the future, financially, and also in terms of our gifts and our ambitions and the way we want to be, well, the way we believe God calls us to be church in the community. So it's a lot of numbers and a very boring meeting in many ways, and yet really exciting if you can look through the numbers and see the ministry, see the love, and we thanked a whole lot of people today. So you missed that, but in worship, you missed some great jazz. My goodness, our music director Daniel Rubinoff can just play the heck out of a piano, and it was wonderful hearing Dylan sing and Daniel play. It was so beautiful, and playing with the congregation singing, and we went from wonderful jazz and just over the edge of control, just perfect, to traditional organ music, great voices, soprano descants. There was so much beauty in the music today. We really heard the Word of God in music. And we shared the story, well, dramatically we shared the story from Mark's Gospel of Jesus, the time that his disciples were pulling the heads off grain on the Sabbath, which was not allowed, of course, and also the time that Jesus healed a man on the Sabbath, breaking the rules. And yet Jesus reminds us that the Sabbath was made for humanity, not humanity for the Sabbath. And sometimes there are priorities, and healing and kindness, that's one of them. Also, I think there's a little story in there too, but God's going to do what God's going to do. We have rules, but Jesus, representing that divine presence, God's going to do what God's going to do. And then we listen to the story of Samuel and Eli, when Eli was old and Samuel was young and first heard that call from God but didn't know what the voice was. And when he heard the voice, Eli encouraged Samuel to respond and to listen, and then to share with him what was said, so that he could affirm for Samuel that this was the voice of God. The problem was the message was one that would hurt Eli. It was one that promised that things were changing and that the future was not good. He was going to have to pay for past indiscretions. And there was a lesson in that for us, I think, about how we listen for the Word of God, and how we help others listen for it, and how we come to understand that times change, and there is a time for new wisdom, not just young people thinking like older people or other people thinking like us, but in fact God speaks to all of us and says different words, calls us into different actions. We're reminded of Dr. King and the letter from the Birmingham jail, when he answered back to the clergy who thought perhaps he shouldn't be breaking the law, that in fact respect for the law was important, and that there was another way to get his message across. And you know what? When you are empowered and you are in the majority, and the way you do things and your color and your age and your gender are all normative, there are ways to do things. But when those things don't all apply to you, God whispers different words in your ears. And so those of us in privilege have to remember that, and we have to let go and listen, and sometimes follow wisdom that doesn't make sense to us. But we know when we really listen to what another person's saying, we know that they too have heard the voice of God. And so we have to trust. Just as Eli trusted Samuel, helped Samuel even, and then trusted him. So that's what we thought about today. That's what we considered. And as I say, we celebrated the Reverend Dionisio coming into a call at Jubilee. And so you missed that. But you can spend some time this week thinking a little bit about your wisdom, your privilege. And we all have it. Depends on where we are and what's going on. We all have something. And how you might be able to, how all of us can learn to respect that other people have wisdom that may not be the same as ours, and that God speaks to them too, and just sometimes says different words. But if we can put them all together and listen to each other, well, wouldn't that be great? The other thing that would be great is if we could see you. So hopefully we'll get to see you soon, but until we do, know that you are in our thoughts, our prayers, and our hearts, and always considered in our company. God bless.